Whoa! A wild slap nut to Pierce. That's right. That's J-E-F-F, J-A-R-E, double J, Jeff Jarrett. Marky D, don't piss me off.
Shove it, man!
Okay, shovers, here's an interesting episode of Ring of the Hawk Season 3, because for today's competitor, I literally don't remember a single thing that she did. So that means that it was either going to be really bad, or so average that she's forgotten. What she's probably most famous for is her being WCW's attempt at making their own version of Chyna. This video was also a Patreon request by William Moore. If you want to make the Hawk talk, sign up today. And of course,
If you know a wrestler who could do the J-O-B to the H-A-W-K any night, any day, ha ha! Shove their name in the comments, Jack!
Okay, it's Asya. Did she make the men call her sir? Asya was a bodybuilder turned professional wrestler. She went in the WCW power plant, and then as far as I can tell, she just made her wrestling debut on Nitro. Asya originally debuted in WCW in pre-tape segments in the spring of '99. She was one of Ric Flair's nurses when he was thrown in an asylum. Bit of a strange casting decision to select someone as large as her to play a nurse. When he managed to get out of the asylum, she came out with him for some reason, and she was given the name Double D. You can tell a lot of thought went into that name. Kind of a massive spot for someone to just get shoved into when you think about it. Asya ends up choking Gorgeous George a bit like when Chyna choked Marlena in her early days. I doubt that'll be the last comparison I make in this video. But as far as problems with a Chyna comparison go, we get one before she's even had her first match. She is the same size as Dean Malenko, one of the smallest men in WCW, whilst Chyna was at least 6 foot. It made her more believable against men. If she's gonna fight men, she has to be believable. We'll see what we get here. Anyway, she disappears for a few months before re-establishing herself as a member of the Revolution. She's also been renamed, thank God, and she's now Asya, because Asya is bigger than Chyna. Very witty WCW. Match 1, Nitro Mixed Tag, Rey Mysterio and Tori Wilson and Filthy Animals versus Asya and Dean Malenko. Asya's only the 3rd tallest person in this match after Dean Malenko and Tori Wilson. Do you see the problem here? Straight away, Asya handcuffs Tori to the turnbuckles. She gives Rey Mysterio a vertical suplex for a pretty good crowd cheer. Now Asya and Dean work together to deliver double back elbows. Rey fights back, but he doesn't want to hit Asya. He's apparently fine with kicking her off the ring apron though. Moments later, Rey throws Malenko into Asya, but she manages to avoid the Bronco Buster. Dean Malenko wins a 2-minute match with the Cloverleaf. I hope it improves from this, because if this is all she has to offer, she's not even going to come close to Chyna. This debut is a D. Between the next 2 matches, Asya actually stands up to Psycho Sid, and it looks really dumb. The Revolution are doing this gimmick that they've broken away from America and formed their own sovereign nation. I guess it's a nation of short people. Match 2, WCW Mayhem 99, mixed 6-person elimination tag. The Revolution with Shane Douglas and his permanently broken arm versus the Filthy Animals with Konad. The Filthy Animals take the Revolution out while Asya just stands around like a dumbass. Kidman and Guerrero double kick her in the gut and then double smack her one. She's not doing anything in this one. Well, unless she can't get poked in her eyelid by Kidman. Later, she does manage to clothesline Kidman down, but then all the good work is undone because Tori Wilson takes her down and she's all over her. Kidman drags them apart and he hits the set-up powerbomb to Asya. Kidman is eliminated seconds later, which causes the Filthy Animals to shove each other. Tori is injured. Saturn tags Asya in and they elbow Eddie down together. The big vertical suplex from Asya on Eddie once again gets an impressive crowd reaction. Just a 2 count though and she tags out. Eddie manages to eliminate Dean. I can't believe Asya's still in this thing. Asya starts fighting Eddie and hits him with a big throw out the corner. The slowest clothesline I've ever seen connects from Asya now. But then, moments later, Perry Saturn super kicks her by mistake. Eddie hits her with the frog splash and she's done. Perry Saturn wins the match by smacking Tori Wilson in the vagina. They cut away quickly. I don't know, I guess it was okay, it's a D, but not that much has really changed. I'm probably being too generous, but I tend to get more brutal as the video goes on. Match 3 Nitro, Madusa with Evan Courageous versus Asya with Perry Saturn. Asya barges her out the ring before the bell even has a chance to sound. They fight on the outside where Madusa desperately kicks at her, eventually knocking her down. In the ring, Asya tries a submission, but she's powered up into the air and dropped backwards. No pin is made. The commentary team are going nuts about Asya's physique. Madusa keeps throwing kicks and follows it with a second rope dropkick. She tries again, but this time Asya stops her and throws her to the mat. Asya puts her straight into her leg head scissors and she wins by tap out. At least she has a finishing move that makes sense, using her legs. They are big after all. If that is her finisher, I don't know. When does a finisher officially become a finisher? Does it have to be used more than once? Let me consult my Ring of the Hawk rulebook and I'll smack you in the head with it later. The problem is, nothing impressive happened in this match. Madusa was the impressive one, lifting her up on her shoulders. This one's an S, let's just call a brick a brick. Match 4, Nitro, Asya with the Revolution. The backflip she does into the ring is the most impressive thing I've seen her do so far. And she takes on Midnight, who teleports into the ring. Okay, we're going to pause the video right here. Who the hell booked this crap? Midnight absolutely towers over her. In fact, wouldn't Midnight versus Chyna be a more sensible comparison? She looks like a fucking boss. Anyway, she leapfrogs Asya and lands a dropkick to the face, just a 1 count. Asya floats over in the corner and lands a snap suplex, also just a 1 count. Asya copies a little kip-up thing. Back on their feet, Midnight boots her in the gut and holds her up overhead for a few seconds before throwing Asya to the mat. An interesting pin attempt follows for a 2. Asya isn't hurt and responds with a big throw. A snapmare now from Asya, but she misses her elbow drop. Midnight uses the delayed vertical suplex. No crowd reaction for her version though. Before the ref can count 3, he's dragged out of the ring and the Revolution beat up Midnight with flags. This match was dumb. Why put her in a spot where she can literally be dwarfed? There's no point in her being on the show anymore. There's a far bigger, more impressive looking bodybuilder lady. This 1-minute match was dumb, which isn't Asya's fault, but come on, it's an S. Match 5, Thunder. Asya with the Revolution take on Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Actually, scrap that. The bell never rings, so the match technically doesn't start, and he's beaten down by 10 men. More men head to the ring to join in the attack. Apparently, they didn't think there was enough people beating up Duggan. Real Match 5, Nitro. 6-person mixed tag. The Revolution with the broken arm boy. Can she please do something here? Can she talk? I don't know, she's a mute. They take on Harlem Heat, Booker T and Stevie Ray. The lights go out and Midnight is here. Why is Perry Saturn punching Dean Malenko? They don't even mention the Revolution fighting each other. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Booker T pussies out on smacking Asya in the face, making her look even more of a lesser competitor, the opposite of Chyna. This is one of the slowest matches I've ever seen. Perry Saturn dives at Booker T but misses and hits Asya, who flies off the ring apron. A moment later, Midnight leapfrogs Dean Malenko, who crashes into Saturn, and somehow Malenko rolls up Stevie Ray. The Revolution win without Asya throwing a single punch. What the hell is the point? I know I throw some people under the bus, but I'm not exaggerating, she hasn't done a thing. We're 5 matches in and it's actually getting worse. It sucks Sonny Siaki's ass. Shove it. Match 6, Thunder, mixed tag. Asya and Saturn with Malenko and the Broken Arm Boy take on Midnight and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Randomly, this match will be 7 minutes and 22 seconds. Surely she's got to do something in this one. Well, the first minute is Hacksaw Jim Duggan doing his pro-America gimmick, so that's 1 minute wasted. Saturn starts the match with Duggan and they proceed to wrestle each other for 2 minutes, so that's 3 minutes gone. She finally jumps into the ring. Duggan lifts her hair up and he does literally nothing to stop him. Punch him in the gut, for God's sake. Midnight gets the tag and holds Asya up in the air, just like last time, and drops her to the mat. Midnight manages the leapfrog with Saturn making a blind tag as Midnight does her dropkick. So that's another minute wasted because Asya did nothing, as usual. I was starting to think WCW had a no male violence against women policy, but Saturn proceeds to beat the turd out of Midnight. Asya grits her teeth and desperately hits a suplex after a while. She does an elbow drop and a leg drop all in slow motion and then tags out. Wait, no she doesn't. Saturn tells her she's not allowed to tag yet. Both girls awkwardly crash into each other for a double down. Now Saturn's happy to take the tag. Wow, talk about being made to look stupid. Everything is in slow motion. She kicks Midnight in the gut and throws her from the ring. The Harlem Heat throw her back in the ring. Asya almost rolls up Midnight from that. The match starts getting chaotic now. Douglas throws Saturn into Asya and takes like a champion flying out the ring. The Broken Arm Boy tries to interfere, but he sort of hits his own guy. He clearly misses him though. Malenko's in to break up the pin, and the ref suddenly has to pretend he's distracted by nothing as he looks about desperately for something to see. Duggan hits Perry Saturn with his 2x4 for the win. Wow, that was bad. I wasn't expecting it to be this level of bad. It's in the Giant Gonzalez territory. You know you're in trouble on Ring of the Hawk when you have to question why you're even watching a run. Match 7, Starrcade 1999. Wow, 2 pay-per-view checks for this girl already. At this point, you could have had the real Sonny Siaki wrestle on WCW pay-per-view. He was signed at the time, and his matches would have sucked his ass less than these Asya matches. It will be a 4-on-3 mixed person tag. The Revolution with Broken Arm Boy versus Jim Duggan and the Varsity Club, Mike Rotunda and Rick Steiner and Kevin Sullivan, with Leia Mayal for some reason. If the Revolution lose this match, the stipulation is they must become janitors. Jim Duggan teases punching Asya, but pussies out. Just fucking smack her. Saturn has it won, but Asya distracts the ref for too long, potentially costing her team the match. The Revolution all hit clotheslines in the corner. This brings the Varsity Club in, and Kevin Sullivan smacks a one. Asya is put in the Tree of Woe and smashed again by Sullivan. Then, completely against any common sense, the Varsity Club turn on Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The Broken Arm Boy has been on commentary the whole match, and it's not acknowledged that he's part of this match. It's even referred to as a handicap match. But he scrambles to the ring and gets the free count. Simply horrible. How was this on pay-per-view? It's an S.
Ow!
Match 8, 6-person mixed tag. The Filthy Animals team up with fucking Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Why, oh why is this still going on? And they take on the Revolution with the Broken Arm Boy, I guess. Unless he's secretly part of this match and I don't know it. She doesn't do anything for ages until breaking up a pin. Kidman smacks her out from behind like a complete coward. Why does everyone have a problem with punching her in the face? The match breaks down and everyone's fighting. Well, except Asya. She stands on the apron looking extremely confused. She decides to run. She runs somewhere, and seconds later the Animals roll up the Revolution. If she'd stayed on the apron, she could have broken up the pin. There's so little to say, I've never known a run like this. Obvious S. Now who's ready for a segment? Because I just love segments, it's time for the Taz Factoid of the Week.
I got a factoid for both you guys. I got a boil on my ass.
This match on Thunder was the final time the Revolution appeared together in a match on Thunder before they left for the WWF. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. Match 9 Nitro, Lethal Lottery Tag Match. Random wrestlers are teamed up with other random wrestlers to win a random prize. Screaming Norman Smiley will team up with Asya with the Revolution. Oh, but they take on Revolution member Perry Saturn, who has to team up with arch nemesis Jim Duggan. What a barnstormer we have here. Duggan beats up his own partner while Smiley and Asya hide in the corner. It's not going well. It does eventually turn into a sort of match between Smiley and Saturn. He tags in Asya for some reason. Saturn considers hitting her with the driver but changes his mind. He tells Asya to tag out because he doesn't want to hurt her, but she doesn't want to do it. She wants to fight him. She hits Saturn in the slash zone and hits a falling over clothesline. I spent the next 10 seconds cringing as Asya struggles to get Saturn to the top rope. She struggles to climb up there too, but eventually she hits a superplex for the most impressive thing from her in this video. Smiley sweeps up and gets the free from her suplex. Asya is a bad winner and hits her own partner with a belly to belly. Look, I'm going to be real here, it still wasn't good, but it was some character progression at least, so I'm giving it a D. Match 10, Nitro, Lethal Lottery Tag, Buff Bagwell and Champagne Chris Canyon. Bagwell smashes his own partner out before the match. They take on Norman Smiley and Asya, who's on her own. Bagwell's beaten up by Norman for a while. He tags Asya eventually. She delivers an elbow drop to the nutsack. Asya tries to suplex Bagwell, who reverses it into one of his own. Bagwell's all over her and he scoop slams her. But then, Asya smacks Buff in the slash zone. Norman Smiley instructs Asya to hold Bagwell so he can smack him out of his teddy bear head, but he misses and he hits Asya. Bagwell wins with the blockbuster on Smiley. The Revolution is apparently still a thing. Nothing is resolved because Jim Duggan is here again. I bet you were looking forward to seeing him again. He ends up losing this fight and getting stomped down. Asya doesn't seem happy about it. I wasn't happy about it either. The match sucks, it's an F. Match 11, Thunder. Well, this is random. Cruiserweight title match. The champion is Madusa with Spice, and it's a singles match against Asya. Imagine if they'd actually had a women's title. Oh no, it's Oklahoma. Kill me. Asya goes behind straight away, but she's thrown off. She tries a drop kick, which badly misses. Saturn and Malenko are seen stomping to the ring. Asya gives Madusa a monkey flip from the corner and a leg drop. Madusa does a Ric Flair roll over the corner and she almost falls over on the apron. Then she tries to dive into the ring but she falls again. Madusa does a suplex but Shane Douglas is distracting the ref. Saturn hits Asya from behind because they always do, and Madusa wins with a German suplex. The Revolution seem divided about attacking Asya. I'm not, I know she sucks. It's an F.
Shove it!
She spends the rest of her contract in WCW making extremely sporadic appearances doing random things, like hating on Oklahoma, which is something that I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. She does have a match against Molly Mona Holly, but it was on a C show, so we can't count it for Ring of the Hawk, but it wasn't much better than anything we've seen here. Match 12, final match for a shot at the WCW heavyweight title, Battle Royal. Asya and Madusa decide to join the match halfway through. The commentary team legit don't know who these women are and keep calling them Mona. Then the real Mona joins the match and they say that Madusa's here too. If you needed evidence that they didn't care about their women's division, here it is. But at least she can say she had a match against Ric Flair and the Hawkster. Anyway, she does nothing, and I think she's eliminated by moaning Molly Holly off camera. The match is won by the Nature Boy. Hogan goes through a table as well, which the camera completely misses. A real shame. It's an S.
No!
Game over. Well, not really. She would continue to appear on WCW, but just as a valet. She was briefly paired up with her real-life husband, Demon Dale Torborg. She was written off WCW in June 2000 when her own pyro exploded her and knocked her off the stage. And that was it. She retired from wrestling and married Demon Dale and did some naughty photos entitled One Night in Asia. I made that bit up. Smack me one. She went back to bodybuilding and does barrel racing, something I've literally never heard of before. This whole thing was just weird. They wanted to make her comparable to Chyna, but it just wasn't. She didn't do anything to the men. Well, she didn't really do anything to the women either. She was meant to be a powerhouse who didn't do any power moves. That's part of the reason Chyna got so popular. She didn't speak a single time, and she was so green you could see people telling her what to do in the matches. And whilst we're on the subject of Chyna, I believe Chyna was subjectively good looking. Some people back in the day would have found this woman nice to look at. I'm just not seeing the same thing with Asya. She has duck lips before they even became a thing. Then she coats them in this weird pink lipstick that makes them stand out even more. And a big roid face like Nicole Bass. They could both kiss Sonny Siaki's ass. And I know someone's going to moan in the comments that I'm not allowed to discuss how the women look. It was the Attitude Era. This stuff mattered then, so it matters for this video. It's part of the reason Chyna was so popular. It's why Chyna spent so much money trying to reshape her face to become as womanly as possible. This stuff mattered then if you were going to be a TV star. And it matters if you're going to be on Ring of the Hawk too. Right, now let's get this over and done with. We all know she's going in the shove it zone, but the main decision to make is how bad will she shove it. I'll bring this up on the screen now because this is a big decision we have right here. I'll break it down like this. Southern Justice at least had some moves. Mordecai had a great character. Pisco, he was maybe slightly better than Asya. Gail Kim, that run was really bad and botchy, but at least it wasn't boring. Gonzalez, he was terrible, but that run was mercifully short. And at least I sat through that living in hope that he could potentially do something with his height. So that leaves us with Bastion Booger versus Asya. Ultimately, what it's going to come down to is that Booger's run was a lot longer and a lot more sickening. They were both bad, but Asya finishes above him because she was short. I meant the run was short, and if you don't agree with that, your girl will get caught.